A regular meeting of the City Council held in Council Chamber on Thursday, February 24th, 2011, 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on February 17th, 2011 at 5:26 p.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Absent presently is Councilor O'Keefe. He is at a wake and will be here shortly. Councilor Prevey moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous minutes. All those in favor? Opposed? Request that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. President,
Pelletier.
I ask for suspension of the rules so we can swear in our new police officers.
Council Pelletier asks for suspension of rules to swear in the new police officers. Any objection? None? Okay.
Thanks, folks. I'm Mayor Kim Driscoll, for folks who don't know me, and I just want to welcome everyone here this evening. I have the pleasure of introducing the Chief of the Department, Chief Tucker, but before doing so, I just want to welcome all the families and certainly our 4 new members to the Salem Police Department. It's been quite some time since we've been able to add any new officers to the police force. We've really worked hard to, I think, operate more efficiently, and I think this year, not only are we adding an additional officer, but we also have the opportunity to backfill officers who have left due to retirement or other circumstances. What that means for our community is that we have a strong commitment to public safety, and I really want to thank the council for working through difficult, tiring budget years, but still putting us in a position to ensure that our police force does not go further down. When I took over, we were down about 12 officers, maybe even 15 at the time, and it was the lowest number of personnel we had had working on the force. And that means we don't have as many folks out in the front lines, out in the street. We've slowly been able to build that back up by working together, again, through difficult budgets, but trying to do what we think is in the best interest of our community, making public safety a top priority. So I'm pleased to be here to participate in the swearing in this evening and welcome aboard new officers. Not only are they new to Salem, or I should say not only, while they're new to Salem, I do want to point out that all of these officers have transferred in from other departments, whether it's the MBTA, Salem State University, or the City of Lawrence Police Department. That does 2 things for us. One, it gives us an experienced team that's coming out. So they're rookies here, but they're not rookies really. And 2, we're not missing them while they're out training, getting their field training or in the academy. We're not losing out on the opportunity to have them out in the street, something that does happen when you typically hire new officers. So it's been certainly a big plus for us to bring in some trained staff, put them to work right away. And I appreciate the council's opportunity, the council working together to give us the resources to make that possible. Without further ado, I want to introduce Police Chief Paul Tucker, who has a few remarks he'd like to add with regard to our new officers. Paul? Yeah, thank you. Take quarters up there.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this swearing-in ceremony, and I'd really like to take note of all the officers that have come on their own time. We have detectives, lieutenants, captains. Captain Rod Como is the executive officer. Captain Tom Griffin is here. Captain Brian Gilligan. Lieutenant Mark Lasofa, Lieutenant Desmond, who's actually the officer that is in command of this shift, and their Sergeant Fred Ryan. I welcome everybody on behalf of the department. Each of these police officers to be sworn in tonight comes before you already having been fully trained and with deep police experience. As the most visible representatives of city government, this ceremony serves 2 functions. It demonstrates that the city of Salem publicly acknowledges and values a professional police department's duty to truly serve the community. Secondly, it speaks to the responsibility and obligation that each of these officers now have to maintain the highest standards of our department. You are now part of the Salem Police Department, and every day that you wear that uniform, you represent the best in law enforcement and public service. I'm very grateful to Mayor Driscoll for her support over these past 17 months since I became chief. We've worked very hard to maintain a strong public safety presence during difficult economic times. These appointments are a further example of her support. I'm also very appreciative to the members of the City Council who have expressed their commitment to me personally and to our department's future success. I'm very grateful for your efforts as well. If I could introduce the officers, Officer Tracy O'Leary. She's here with her husband, Salem Fire Department Lieutenant John O'Leary, and their children, John Jr., Derek, and Brady. Officer O'Leary is a graduate of the Transit Police Academy and comes to us from the Transit Police Department. Prior to her coming to this department, she had an interesting first day on the job. She was written up in all the Boston papers, and she made a very noteworthy arrest on her very first day. What I found remarkable about that, looking back at the media reports, was her reaction. In a very simple but elegant way, she said, "I helped somebody today, that's why I'm here." Since becoming a member of the Salem Police Department, she has continued to demonstrate that same compassion and commitment to performing this job. Officer Radamus Gonzalez is married to his wife, Roanne, and has a son, Zachary, and a daughter, Sabrina. Officer Gonzalez is a graduate of the Lowell Police Academy, where he received the Outstanding Physical Fitness Training Award and went on to become a member of the Lawrence Police Department. He brings to this department a wealth of experience and a background including mixed martial arts, defensive tactics, and firearms instruction. He has served in the United States military and took part in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Officer William Oliveri is married to his wife, Nicole, who we found out is originally from Salem, being born here, and they have 2 children, Anthony and Aiden. Officer Oliveri comes to the Salem Police Department as a highly recommended and skilled police officer. He is a graduate of the Boylston Regional Academy and has extensive experience in special weapons and tactics. During the background check prior to his appointment, his superiors and colleagues from the Lawrence Police Department consistently spoke of his dependability, loyalty, and overall excellence as a police officer. His addition makes our department a better organization. Officer Daniel Tucker is here with his mother Ann, sisters Megan and Shannon, grandparents Ted and Shirley Kobielka, Aunt Judy Davenport, girlfriend Justine, and her parents Cynthia and Bob Kolsky. Officer Tucker is a graduate of the Transit Police Academy, where he was elected class president and graduation speaker. He also received the Academy's Physical Fitness Award. He is a graduate of Fordham University and previously served with the Salem State University Police Department. On a personal note, if I may, a point of personal privilege, as has been said in this hall sometimes, I've always been proud to be a police officer. It's part of a noble profession. But even more than that, I've been privileged to wear the patch and the uniform of the Salem Police Department. To see my son follow in my footsteps, knowing that he could have chosen other paths, makes me very pleased. I've enjoyed watching his success in school and in sports, and now that he's a colleague, as a police chief and a father, I could not be more proud of him. The Salem Police Department continues to be the finest, and this appointments and ceremony tonight will continue that excellence. Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
We could ask all the officers being sworn in to stand and meet me right in the front here.
Solemnly swear
That I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a Salem police officer, acting to the best of my ability and understanding, agreeably with the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Salem, so help me God. I
Tracy O'Leary,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Ask for a 2-minute recess and remind the newly sworn-in officers to sign the book over here. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go.
The golf course doesn't go on today, right?
Oh, next Wednesday, Park and Rec.
Okay, so
Tonight it goes to
Jerry,
committee.
some people are here, Jerry might want to announce that it's not going to, is it something tonight?
Well, I think it just goes into committee.
But I
Ready?
heard Park and Rec had to redo their meeting.
Right, so I don't even know if they're going to, I don't even know if it can.
Okay.
Mr. President, I ask that we return to the regular part of the schedule.
Okay, back to regular part, public testimony. There is none. I have the sign-up sheet, nobody signed up, so. Hearings, none. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Michael Taylor to serve as on the Commission of Disabilities with a term to expire February 1st, 2013.
Counselor Sargent, can you take this for Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes, I gotta find it, hold on. Do you have that one there?
Thank you, Mr. President. Filling in for Council O'Keefe, we have somebody from Ward 7, Michael Taylor, to serve on the Salem Committee on Disabilities for a 3-year term to expire February 1, 2013. Mr. Taylor resides at 4A Arnold Drive in Salem. He's diligently served on the board in the past. He's invested interest in the rules and regulations of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. In addition, Mr. Taylor, in his role on the commission, has long been an advocate for all individuals living and working with disabilities in the city of Salem. He brings a wealth of knowledge to this hard-working board and is a valuable asset, and I recommend his approval.
So move, is he in the chamber?
Reappointment.
Oh, reappointment, okay.
Reappointment, so good.
So you move for confirmation by roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely? Yes. Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes. Okay. On the reappointment of Michael Taylor to the Commission on Disabilities, with 10 counselors voting, 1 absent, 10 in the affirmative, the motion, the reappointment carries. Communications from the mayor, none. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the year-to-date budget report dated January 31st, 2011 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Councilor McCarthy moves that the year-to-date budget report dated January 31st, 2011 be moved to Administration and Finance. Under discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion? Okay. Need a vote?
What do you need?
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Councilor Pelletier?
I'm going to ask for personal privilege to hold this off, and I'll suspend the rules later when my Ward 7 council comes in, if I may, Mr. President.
Okay. Councilor Pelletier wants to suspend the rules to move this until Councilor O'Keefe shows up.
Objection.
Objection by Councilor Pinto. All right. All those in favor of suspending, of moving this off to the another part of the meeting? All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
So 3 opposed. And what's it, 7 in favor? Move it off. Is there any other motions, orders, and resolutions? Council Lovely?
Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, February 24th, 2011, ordered that the administration, together with the efforts of the City Council, arrange to have the portrait of George Washington be moved back to his place of honor in the City Council chambers behind the Council President, and that the matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services for their review and recommendation.
Okay, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. In honor of President's Day, I actually sponsor this order every year, and as most people know, or perhaps maybe most people don't know, out in the hallway is a huge portrait of George Washington hanging in the hallway as you come up. It's got to be
5 feet by 8 feet or so, or it's a big, big portrait, beautiful portrait. It actually hung right here before there was that red velvet curtain. And I think George Washington deserves to be hung back in that place of honor. He's actually supposed to be facing one of these other gentlemen, Lafayette. He's supposed to be facing Lafayette in the chamber, and instead they're back to back. We've actually asked the Pavey Essex Museum in past years to help us with this, but they declined because of the expense, because not only would they want to take it down, but they'd want to have it cleaned, repaired. There was a hole in it. But before there's more holes in it, I think it should be moved back. It also actually sits adjacent to a window. And a window light coming in and shining on a painting, especially one of that age, is not good for it. So I'm asking some of my fellow colleagues with maybe their construction experience, engineering experience, et cetera, that we can arrange with the administration to move it back, and we'll take care of cleaning it up later. But I think it certainly deserves to be back where it belongs. And I'd like to move this to committee for discussion. Thank you.
Which committee was that? The,
Government Services.
Council Pelletier.
Yes, thanks, Mr. President. I appreciate Council Lovely. She does this every year. And I'd like to see the same thing done. I'm sure we can get a bunch of big gentlemen, muscular gentlemen that can help us. I'm sure we can move it with relative ease, relative safety. Where it sits now, people come by, they swat their hand across it. The young children have to put their fingers on it, and it's wearing it, and it's not there. If you had read in the Salem News a few weeks back, on a Friday when they run those little tidbits, I forget who the actor was in town, but Mayor Collins was up. Everybody was lined up there, and the picture of George Wash was right there. And I think that was like 1959 or something. So he was there like in 1959. I don't know when he got removed and the curtains came in, but I certainly appreciate Council Lovely's due diligence on this. We can do it. I mean, if the museum don't want to help us, I'm sure we can get some volunteers from moving companies, safe movers, furniture movers, something to that effect, that we can get it moved relatively easily, inexpensively, and safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Pelletier. Any further discussion? Council Lovely's motion to move this matter into Government Services Committee. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? None at this time. We'll move on to committee reports. Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, February 24, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter, would recommend approval. Public guides and tag days.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
Discussion on adoption of the recommendation. All those in favor? Opposed? Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, February 24, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of a feasibility study regarding public guide licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend that a subcommittee be formed consisting of Councilor Pelletier, Councilor O'Keefe, Jim McAllister, the City Clerk, and the City Solicitor for their review and recommendations.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a meeting last evening for those who couldn't be here with us, and we invited Mr. McAllister in, who's actually a wealth of information. He told us back in the 70s, I believe, when he wanted to become a public guide, he had to take a test that was administered by the Salem Chamber of Commerce, and it took 4.5 hours to take this exam. The exams were then corrected by a professor over at Gordon College for their content and correctness. And he said that way people knew, public guides knew of the history that should be told to tourists that are coming to our city. Councilor Pelletier sponsored this order, and I was happy that he did, and I'd actually ask him to speak on it as well.
Okay. Council Pelletier.
Yes, thank you. I want to thank the chairperson from Ordinance, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. this is gonna be, we're not gonna get this done this year, it's gonna be a long process, but it has to start somewhere. And we need to separate the historic value from the ghost tours, okay? We don't want our tourists going home thinking that the city clerk was shot in the mayor's office when he was the finance director, and, you know, it needs to be better managed. Also, I noticed several times, and my colleague from Ward 7, we left this place after a meeting out back, and there were people giving tours that had no badges, nothing at all, and they were just giving tours. So now we're gonna tighten up the ordinance, we're gonna put fines on it, that they have to wear the badge, okay? They have to give a card out saying if they're historically accurate or not. And there will be fines, there will be penalties. And if that's the only way we can keep these people in line, I mean, they're running amok on Halloween week, but, so it's gonna be a long process. But with Jim McAllister's help and the subcommittee, we should be able to draft something relatively easy for the city solicitor to look over for us and make sure it's true and good to do, and hopefully we can get something out of it. But apparently, this year, we don't have enough time. These people had already applied for their public guide licenses. It won't be fair to them. So we'll get it going for next year, but we'll have it in place for next year.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, if anybody's got any ideas, you can send them to the committee.
Okay, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? Council Lovely?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, February 24, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of the unregistered vehicle ordinance, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, the committee authorized Councilor Prevey, who was part of our discussion last evening, who's not a part of the committee. He was the original councilor that put this order forward, to speak with different department heads. And I'd actually, about reworking this ordinance, we're pretty close to finalizing it, and I would actually ask Councilor Prevey if he would say some remarks about last evening's meeting.
Council Prevey?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Lovely. I'm going to check with Lieutenant Przewski, because I think the way the ordinance is currently written, there's some confusion relative to what role the police chief and the fire chief play in this, as well as the building inspector. It seems as if the building inspector has the authority to do the enforcement aspect of it, but the police chief and the fire chief under the ordinance have a role to provide waivers to people who are trying to obtain some relief from this ordinance and the restrictions in it. So what we'd like to do is get some further input from Lieutenant Przewski, who is the supervisor of the traffic division, get his input on it, and perhaps make it so there's a little bit, an extra layer of a burden essentially on the petitioner to make sure that whoever that individual is obtains permission from both the fire chief as well as the police chief. Under the way the ordinance is written right now, a person has an option to get a waiver from either the police chief or the fire chief, and since they look at different situations and problems obviously differently from a different lens, given their respective viewpoints, I think people are of the same mind that both departments should weigh on this and be unison in terms of giving a waiver. So once we do that, we can move forward and the committee can make a final recommendation, vote it out, and approve it for the council. And I think it'll make a tighter ordinance. So that's some of the work I'm going to be doing. I'll report back to Councilor Lovely and the rest of the members of the committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on adoption of the recommendation? All those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports? Council Lovely?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last one. City of Salem and City Council, February 24, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of elected officials receiving compensation from the city after termination or resignation from office, has considered said matter and would recommend that in Section 2, Chapter 2, Section 278, subsection A, the words termination or be deleted from the first sentence.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Excuse me.
Just
Thank you.
looking for my ordinance here. I wanted to read it in its entirety. I think I have it. Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met on this last evening. This is an order brought forward by Councilor Pinto, who's not a member of the committee. I'm going to ask him to make some remarks in a minute, if he would. And after deliberating in committee, I'd like to read subsection A and then how it's been amended. So the section is elected officials receiving compensation from city after termination or resignation from office. A, no elected official shall, within 1 year of the date of the termination or resignation of his office in the city government, become an officer, employee, or consultant in the city government, and shall not, either directly or indirectly, receive compensation from the city government for any services rendered to him. I'd like to read section B because it's important, although we did not amend section B. This section shall not apply to any elected official who is appointed to a position on a municipal board or commission for which he receives no compensation or salary. Now I'd like to go back and read subsection A as it's been amended. No elected official shall, within 1 year of the date of the resignation of his office in the city government, become an officer, employee, or consultant in the city government, or shall not, either directly or indirectly, receive compensation from the city government for any services rendered to him. Under further discussion, Mr. President, I know that's a lot to say, and I'd like to explain it. Just in speaking last night in committee, the committee made this recommendation to remove the word termination, and we discussed what termination means and to the committee and to the council. And termination, we determined, means if an elected official either leaves office because they decide not to run for re-election, or they lose office because they don't get re-elected. And we decided to keep resignation in, so that if an elected official resigned from office in the middle of a term, that's where we want to keep that 1 year waiting period, if you will, so that there wouldn't be a special election imposed on the city, and the city would incur costs. So it would prevent a city councilor or a mayor or any other elected official in the city, to a school committee, to take a position after resigning. But if they leave office on their own after the end of a term, or because they want to leave, or they don't want to get, or they don't get reelected, we felt that it was too onerous not to be able to be considered for a board or commission or position that had a fee or a payment attached to it. And I actually brought up former Councilor Regina Flynn when we were on the city council together. She left after she decided to leave office. She didn't seek re-election. And that January, she was, then Mayor Yusevich wanted to appoint her to the licensing board. Well, the licensing board comes with a stipend. It's a paid position. And it actually counts towards pension. So it comes with value, even though it may not be a large stipend, it counts towards your pension, which is very meaningful. And we had to decline her appointment, even though she wanted to waive the fee, because because of this ordinance. And we felt that was unfair, and that happened a number of years ago. Mike, how long have you been Ward 2 councilor? 7 years. Okay, so almost 4 terms ago that she left. But she would have been a great addition to the licensing board, and we had to decline that because of this ordinance. So, we feel that a number of people on the committee and non-committee members felt that city councilors or a mayor or school committee or any elected official in the city brings a wealth of experience that is a plus to the city, not a minus. And why not be able to tap into that wealth of experience instead of having it be almost a detriment or a penalty, if you will. So I'd like Councilor Pinto actually to speak, because he brought this forward and he had a lot of good comments last night. Thank you.
Councilor Pinto.
Mr. President, actually, Councilor Lovely covered most of it. My reasons for bringing it in was I felt that the same reason as Councilor Lovely mentioned, that even though we are elected officials, we're essentially city employees. And we had an instance where a former police chief, who was a city employee, sat on the licensing board, and I think all of us agreed unanimously that it was a good fit because he had knowledge of the community and a police chief for years. So it was more of it was a good fit. The city benefited by it. And that's why I brought this in. I just feel, as Council Lovely said, that given what we do, we're liaisons to boards. We see how municipal government works. We deal with all the different department heads. That this would be, I don't want to say detrimental if we couldn't serve, but the fact that we had to wait a year, I just thought it was kind of unfair. I think in the event that one of us resign as a public official, then that year waiting period should take effect. But other than that, if we were to not seek re-election or to not get re-elected, then we would waive the year. And it was a good discussion we had last night with the committee members. I was not a committee member, and it went very well. So I would urge my colleagues to vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. President?
Council Fieri?
Yes, please. Public service is a high calling. In light of national level all the way down to the state and local level, public service is being criticized. Public servants like ourselves are being criticized for a number of reasons. And I think tampering with this ordinance and reassessing this ordinance in this way is a long time. I think the imposition, the sacrifice, if a public official wants to go into another board or another position somewhere along the line, that year is correct. I think the wisdom of the past city councilors having made this ordinance, I think is more true now than it was then. I think public service is a high calling, and I think waiting a year or more is a sacrifice or an imposition on some people. Maybe we'll be losing their talents, but I think that's worthy. I think this is a safety valve, a safety net, that people can feel trust in us and confidence in us by that 1 year absence from serving. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Fieri. Council Pelletier?
Yes. At our meeting last night, Councilor Pinto made a good point. He talked to different cities and towns around Beverly, Gloucester, and none of them have this ordinance. So why do we have it? Well, we started kicking around and we thought maybe it was a spiteful thing, that maybe somebody got a job at one time back when this, that's all we can figure out. There's really no logic behind it. I think Councilor Prevey said it right. Here we are, we're councilors, we have experience in and out of the city, working with department heads. And when we leave office, we still should be useful to the city and not go out to pasture, okay? I mean, I'm not saying we should take a job with the city, but sitting on a board, we have that experience. How many board meetings do we go to? No? If that doesn't give you experience, I don't know what will, or a headache, one or the other.
Any further
I
discussion?
ask you all to vote for this.
Any further discussion? You want a roll call vote?
Further discussion?
Council Lovely?
Council Prevey actually brought up something that was interesting last evening as well. There's no restriction at the federal level either. President Obama has appointed former senators who actually have resigned, or former congressmen that have resigned or left office to be cabinet members because the president sees the value of that becoming a member of his cabinet. So, we thought that was a pretty interesting thing. Also, Councilor O'Keefe last night had asked, he had mentioned that he thought that there was a Mass General law that actually prevented elected officials from taking a position for 1 year, and asked me to look, and I took a cursory look. I couldn't find one that had that restriction. But I did come across something which was interesting under the elections laws, that elected officials are considered city employees or employees. So I thought that was interesting that Councilor Pinto had made that reference, and I came across it, that they, elected officials are considered employees of the municipality or the government. So thought I'd just share that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Do you want a roll call vote or just regular?
It's a change of an ordinance.
I'll ask if people want a roll call vote.
Council Pelletier?
No, 3 hands.
3 hands
Roll call vote.
for a roll call vote?
We'll vote to be safe.
Sure. Okay.
All right, 3 hands. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Council Sosnowski?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Ronan?
Yes.
Council Prevey?
Yes.
Council Pinto?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
No.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes. Okay. On Counselor Lovely's committee report to update the ordinance for taking the 1-year leave of going on a committee. There was 10 counselors voting, 9 in the affirmative, 1 against. The motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes.
move for immediate reconsideration in hopes that it does not prevail.
Counselor Lovely's motion for immediate reconsideration. The hopes does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Yes. Right. Further committee reports? Counselor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, February 24th, 2011, the Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $55,250.30 for the retirement buyback of school employees, has considered said matter and recommend for approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
On discussion, Mr. President, thank you. The committee met earlier in Mr. Viscay's absence due to vacation. Nina Bridgman from the Finance Department was in, and we discussed this matter. Basically, there's 2 school employees that are retiring. The amounts total, the 2 total to this amount, the amounts were agreed upon by the members and were reviewed by the Finance Director and by the Human Resources Director that they are accurate. During the course of the meeting, Councilor Prevey asked what the balance was relative to what was left in this account, and relatively after this expenditure, there's approximately $300,000 left in the account for any future retirees between now and the end of the year. Nina also spoke of how they're doing their preliminary talks with department heads with regards to next year's budget and potential retirees between now and then and for next year, just to try to supplement this account. And right now, they haven't heard anything, but that is subject to change. So the committee recommended for approval, and I would ask my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McCarthy. Any further discussion? Okay. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, City Council, February 24th, 2011. The Committee on Administration and Finance referred the matter of the transfer of the amount of $2,000 from receipts reserved sale of vaults to cemetery burial account, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Briefly, this is once we met earlier this evening, and once again, this is a standard transfer from the 2 accounts. Basically, one account is for when people actually pass away. It's money that goes into that account for then when we have to purchase boxes for the burials, then we supplement it through this account. So it's a transfer of money that's a standard practice, and the committee recommends approval.
Councilor McCarthy, any further discussion? Okay. On adoption of recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you. The committee report, to whom was referred to the committee with regards to the money matters, the committee has elected to allow all those matters to currently stay in committee, so there will be no action on the item listed in the report.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Any discussion? None. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? Any further committee reports? Okay. Communications from city officials?
We have a communication from Doug Boland, Director of Park and Recreation and Community Services, submitting the following: an order authorizing the mayor and superintendent of Park and Recreation and Community Service to enter into a 5-year contract with 5 additional 1-year options with Golf Facilities Management, Inc. for management of the city's municipal golf course.
Let's go into
Committee of the whole.
committee of the whole.
So,
Council Pelletier?
Mr. President, I motion that this be referred to the Committee of the Whole for a meeting with the meeting of the Committee of the Whole, as well as the Park and Rec Board, and Mr. Boland, and a member of the mayor.
Okay. Counselor Pelletier, move that this matter be moved to the Committee of the Whole. Invite the Park and Rec and the Mayor's office. Any further discussion? Counsel Sergeant?
Thank you, Mr. President. I had heard a comment about there being some question about the Park and Rec Board meeting and them having to re-advertise that meeting and redo it. It's something to do with the open meeting law. Does anybody know anything about that?
Yep.
And if that's the case, then it would have to go before them and then come before us again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Counselor McCarthy
We could
can
do that.
explain as
Thank you.
liaison to the
Yeah.
Park and Rec. Counselor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Counselor Sargent is correct, and if you read the letter that came with the order from Mr. Boland, basically, it came into question last week when the article appeared in the paper, and somebody actually contacted Counselor Lovely, who then CC'd me on an email to Beth Renard with regards to whether or not the agenda for the meeting was properly posted under the new open meeting law sunshine ordinance. After discussions with Beth Renard, the city solicitor, it was determined that, yes, the meeting was improperly posted. Mr. Boland has been made aware of this. He wasn't aware that how he was posting meetings was an error, which in turn has resulted in the fact that Ms. Renard will be having a meeting with the various different departments that post meetings to make sure that they are now have a full understanding of how they should be posted. That being said, the Park and Rec Commission will be holding a special meeting of their commission to address this matter, because the matter was posted in error. They did act on it and they're appropriately what they thought. So in order to allow, because after the fact, there's been some discussion with people who wish they knew it was gonna happen and whether or not they'd show up. So they're gonna have a meeting. I believe it's scheduled for next Wednesday, but until it's officially posted by Doug and the Park and Rec Commission, then I wouldn't wanna speculate, but I believe it, from what I've heard, it's next Wednesday, the March 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it's, so, but I would look to Doug for that posting. Doug Boland, the head of Park and Rec. It doesn't specifically state in the letter what day it will be, but it will be next week. So if the outcome of that meeting and the public testimony should change or sway the opinion of the commission, and they were to change their vote, then this matter in front of us would basically disappear. But the fact that if that matter was to happen, and the vote, I'm not gonna speculate how the vote's gonna come out, but by having this, because of what the action they took, by having this in front of us now, it's able to go into the committee whole, and then if the action of that, outcome of that meeting were to remain the same, that gives us more time in order to deal with this matter. So, Counselor Sargent is correct. They will be posting another meeting and be having public testimony, and I urge anyone who, I attended the meeting. There was a handful of people there that were in attendance that actually, when given the opportunity, no one actually spoke out against. So I would encourage anyone who has an opinion about this to come and say, and the Assistant City Clerk has very graciously handed me the meeting, and the meeting, according to the posting, which was posted actually on the 24th, it says special meeting of Salem Park and Recreation Commission, 5 Broad Street, Salem, Mass., March 2nd, 2011 at 6 p.m. And on the agenda, item number 1 is the only item on the agenda, discussion and vote retaining Golf Facilities Management, Inc. for the management of the Old Salem Greens Municipal Golf Course, 5-year contract with 5 additional 1-year terms. Presentation, City Purchase Agent Tom Watkins. Also invited is Chris Carter, the representative for Golf Facilities Management. I encourage any of my colleagues that, thank you, that have anything to say about this to the commission, to attend. It's a public meeting, and I would encourage anyone who has an opinion about this to show up at that meeting at the Park and Rec at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel McCarthy. Counsel Pelletier?
I rescind my motion, and I'll just make a motion to put this in the Committee of the Whole.
Okay.
Gotta go somewhere.
Oh, that's where I thought it was going.
That's where it's
Right.
That was where we're going. Any further discussion? All right, on the motion by Council Pelletier to put it in the committee of the whole, all those in favor? Opposed? Petitions?
We have one secondhand clothing license.
Lovely.
Move it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves that secondhand clothing license be moved to Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have 5 taxi operator licenses.
I know.
Council Lovely.
Move they be granted.
On Council Lovely, motion to grant the taxi operator licenses. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have 5 claims.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
On Council Lovely's motion to move the claims to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. President, personal privilege.
Council Pelletier.
Could I have a 2-minute recess before we adjourn so I can call Counselor O'Keefe and see if he's gonna come for that matter?
Yes?
2-minute recess.
Vote, okay. We have a 2-minute recess.
Not answering his phone. If my colleagues will indulge me to have a little more recess, I'd appreciate that. If not, if they're all opposed to it, I'll ask the council president to call a meeting on Monday, this coming Monday at 6:30, to discuss this issue. What? Not enough time. How about the 1st? That's Tuesday. And right now, I'd like to ask for extended recess in hopes my colleague will show up.
5-minute recess. 8 o'clock right now.
5 minutes,
5 minutes.
no longer.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's that?
I just got an email regarding Old Salem Greens. They want to put it, right now, which came up during when our RFP proposal went out, that we don't have a gas depot up there.
Right.
So the truck, DPS, whoever fills the truck full of 5-gallon gas cans, they haul them up there. So like, you need a gas depot. They're not proposing to bury it in the ground, they just want to put a gas depot on it. And every email I get references, well, how can that be environmentally correct if they want to bury gas? I'm like, they're not trying to bury gas.
It's above ground,
Yeah,
right?
it's above ground, it's a storage facility.
Right.
No, you can't bury them. Gas tanks. Actually, it was funny because I was sorting through some stuff at the office, and you know, stuff just pops up. And my mother's a pack rat, and so she had.
I love your mother, by the way.
Oh, thank you. She's a sweetheart. But she keeps everything. I literally created a pile as big as Mount Vesuvius of stuff that she used that was like boxes. Well, I might have to send somebody something. I go, Mom, every 2 weeks, I break up enough cardboard to stuff a huge box to recycle out front. You don't need to save them all the time. Anyway, it was funny, I was flipping through one of these catalogs, and I get these construction catalogs, and one of them was, I was just thumbing through it, and it comes to equipment. Gas storage facilities, like portable ones, like you can put behind a trailer. You can tow that holds like 100-something gallons or something like that. That was like, it was like $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. And it's like how you can tow that much gas in a trailer, I have no idea. But
you know, in some places you could probably store that out back. You know, buy it when gas was low, and then just keep.
They used to store the oil that they used. They used to have those big, 50-gallon drum with the cross stands, and put the drum on and just draw the oil right off of it. But
But I bet we have ordinances against gasoline.
because you see a lot of the pickup trucks.
Yeah.
They have the tanks in the back with the pump. They carry diesel fuel to like gas their backhoes and stuff like that. They also have like 100 or 50 or 75 or 100 gallon tank that you can put in the back of a pickup truck, so you can transfer the gas that way. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of 5-gallon cans. I mean, I do it myself. I mean, if I go get gas for the snow blower or my lawnmower or something, that's 1 5-gallon can.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure they've got it all figured out. They've got it all sectioned off of the boards and stuff, but I don't know. But it's funny. Which we wouldn't have to do ourselves. A fully licensed facility like that, because there was 4 or 5 golf course management companies that went out and looked at this, and they all asked, once one asked, they all asked the same question, where's storing your gas? They'll ask the question, because they don't have the luxury of having a DPS pump down the street where they can just go grab it.
Fill it up.
And so, they'll ask the same question, so this part of his proposal, I don't know if you had a chance to read it. I read it the other night, was, in the first year was to expend $30,000.
5 minutes up?
Yes.
Can I adjourn?
Move for adjournment?
Move for adjournment?
5 minutes are up, right? Let's get this going.
Cheryl, can I hold on to that? I think I got one. Not that it means anything. I'll hold on to it, not that it means anything. Got a bunch of stuff in there. I don't know what it says.
Did you get any of that package in your report? I didn't get anything. I didn't get any of that, the financial transactions.
They should have been all on your desks. They put them on.
Your January reports and your yearly reports, I didn't get any of that.
Oh, I got one right, yeah, no, I got one right here.
Yeah, but everybody.
No, everybody gets one though. Here's January.
I didn't get one.
I just get.
You took mine.
Mike, I can make a copy of mine and give it to you.
They only did 5. Like, you can get in? They only did,
They only did the committee.
Been 5 minutes? Been 5 minutes or what?
Tuesday's the day after the.
Been 6 minutes. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
No, because it
We'll get a ruling on that. We know what that'll be, right, Eileen? Yeah, go look at the manual. I'm sure there's a ruling there for that.
48 hours.
Yeah, doesn't work. You still couldn't get them? Okay. Sure, what
Now,
would
this
you,
is
what do you
professionalizing city
suggest?
government.
Exactly.
Just
I'm surprised the cruiser's in over there with lights
vote
on.
on
bringing
it,
them
or refer it to committee, or?
You can be the bodyguard.
But that'll be good for sometimes commuting, you know, on weekends.
I know, it goes past the lease date.
No, I'm saying 5 minutes is up, let's go. Let's adjourn, get out of here.
I tell you, I like,
Yeah, oh no, it needs 8 votes, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
it's just the way
It's
it's
ridiculous.
really nice.
It fails.
It's a good
Yeah.
business school too.
Yeah, it goes to that 1-year option. Yep. Yep,
I like it.
at a 3% escalator.
It's 5 minutes up, let's go.
Committee?
5 minutes is up?
See if it wants to go to committee? I think we should put it in committee. I don't know. I don't know.
You can call us back to order.
I don't know.
Mr. President, I'm still under personal privilege.
Yes. Council Pelletier.
Due to the unfairness of the Ward 7 Council not being here to take this vote, which would have been a yay vote, as you voted the last time.
Objection. Objection.
I'm under personal privilege, I don't need an objection.
Objection. He can't say what the
Don't
council's
tell
gonna
how
vote.
someone's gonna vote.
What's that?
You can't say how someone else gonna vote. You don't know.
Well, you can't object to my personal privilege like you did the last time. Okay? Anyway, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I just want to go on and say, because of the time restraint on this, it ends February 28th, so we don't have time to set up a meeting. And if we set it up for the 1st, it's null and void because the 28th has gone by. I want to take a vote tonight because I want my counselors to know that this is a 40 grand loss for this year.
What are we doing? Oh, beautiful.
Oh.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President, I'm going to sit down, leave myself a personal privilege.
Motion to adjourn?
Please.
Motion to adjourn?
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I ask that the matter that we skipped, we go back to the regular part of the meeting, please?
Back to motion.
To motions, orders, and resolutions, please.
Resolutions.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. President? What are we waiting on?
Council Pelletier.
There's a motion in front of us.
I'm waiting for Council O'Keefe.
No, just read it.
Oh. I thought he was coming in. Okay.
Should be coming
I
in.
want to make a correction, Mr. President.
Let the record note that Councilor O'Keefe has joined us.
On page, under motions, orders, resolutions, this is not a petition. This is a council order. So I would ask that you strike resolution from page 6 and replace it with order.
It's page 6.
You can change that? You can change the resolution or not?
Don,
Just a question, Mr. President. I didn't know you could take a resolution and make it an order. It came in as a resolution.
what's on an order? It says order on the paper we received. It doesn't say resolution.
Didn't it say resolution on our agenda?
On the agenda, I don't know.
Well, if it says resolution on the agenda, why is it being changed now?
I assumed it was a resolution.
It came in as a resolution on the agenda, correct?
I assumed the paperwork was a resolution.
Paperwork was a resolution.
Mr. President?
Council Pelletier.
We initially thought it was going to be a resolution, but it's not. It has to be an order. And it's written in order form.
Mr. President?
Councilor Ronan.
Just a point of clarification, was this matter published as a order or a resolution?
It's showing on
That
here.
was a mistake. It was a mistake. It says order here. Not what it says on the
Mr. President, my question, I guess, is when the agenda is published, we publish either orders, resolutions, motions. This was published as a resolution?
We're in motions, orders, and resolutions, Mr. President.
One at a
and
time, please.
It was a typo. It's an order, and I'm correcting that now.
City Clerk, it says ordered, but it says resolution on our agenda. Is it a resolution or?
When I looked at this, it was laid out like a resolution, and I put it on as a resolution when I looked at it.
But it's on order form paper.
Right, we put resolutions on order form paper.
But it's an order, not a resolution.
You tell me what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's an order.
Council Bento?
President, you're gonna have to make that ruling.
Wait,
Mr. President, this was put in at 12 o'clock, sunshine ordinance. People that read it as a resolution, the public. It came in as a resolution. It's a resolution on our agenda. I don't see how you can change it and make an order. We have a sunshine ordinance that we spent, Council Lovely spent months with organizing, and to me, this is a violation of that sunshine ordinance.
I don't have it in front of me, so, oh, it's his, it's his. He's introducing it. Can I just look at it?
I have it right here.
It's different from the one that was given to us.
Can I speak?
Yes. City Clerk?
I don't usually normally see orders with the words whereas, whereas, whereas. When I see that language, to me, it spells that it is a resolution, and then down below, it says, now therefore be it hereby ordered.
Right.
And the rest of that.
Is an order. So no matter, if it's written that way, it can still be written in a motion or a resolution or an order.
I believe I was told that this was a resolution. I would have never put it on as an order.
Mr. President?
Council Ronan?
Yeah, just to clarify this, if this comes in as an order, this is essentially the same matter that came before this city council last week. So it's my understanding, once we voted on a matter, the matter can come before us again in the same calendar year. Now, when this matter, this is the city lease I'm talking about, came before us and was voted down, we then immediately moved for reconsideration, which was again, voted down. So I don't believe that this procedurally, and I'm asking you, I guess, for a ruling, Mr. President, I don't believe procedurally this matter can come before us again tonight at the very next meeting as an order in this form. I think that if Councilor Pelletier is asking that we revisit our vote of last week on the lease of 120 Washington Street, it's out of order at this time. It can't be brought in the same calendar year.
Well, I have
Mr. President.
a resolution, no, excuse me, got resolution on my mind. I have an opinion from the city solicitor. She sent City Council Rule, Section 6A, disposition of defeated questions and motion provides, no question or motion having been defeated at any time during a particular calendar year may be submitted again for consideration by or to the council in that same calendar year, is what you were talking about. It is the opinion of the city solicitor that in the order before you, a new motion is being presented. The motion now before the council is to authorize the mayor to execute a lease that has a substantially different early termination clause than the lease presented to the council at its last meeting. This new clause gives the city greater leeway to terminate the lease agreement after a 3-year period. Beth Renard, the city solicitor. Councilor O'Keefe.
Well, maybe one of my colleagues, are you going to make a definitive ruling, sir, so we can act in this matter? Because we're going to be battering back and forth as to what's before us. You would have to make a ruling as to if it's proper, and I believe it is proper, and we should vote on it.
Not proper.
So you'd have to make, otherwise we're going to be bouncing up and down, and we're not going to get anywhere, and if you make a definitive ruling and advice of the city solicitor there, I think you're in good stead.
I believe that we can vote on it based on the city
I believe
solicitor's
you're
opinion.
correct, sir.
And the mayor, I believe, placed an order, because every communication I received from her was order. Counselor Pinto?
What would, oh, I'm sorry. I'll
Counsel
yield to
Lovely?
Counsel Lovely. She had her hand up first.
Okay.
Thank you. No, I just was going to speak on whether this is properly before us. I think a strong argument could be made that a mere material change has been made to this. If there's a material change to it, there's a material term that's been changed, then it's different.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of it is the same, but there's a material term that's been changed, and that makes it different. And so I would argue that's properly before us. Thank you.
I agree. Counselor Pinto?
Mr. President, if we do go forward and vote on this tonight, I just want clarification if we're voting on a resolution or an order.
I believe we should be voting on an order. Except for here, we're on the agenda item where it says resolution. Everything else I have shown as an order. Councilor Ronan?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm not going to belabor this point because I've asked you to make your ruling, and if you're going to stand by your ruling, then I won't question that. However, the lease of 120 Washington Street came before us last week. The only difference in the escape clause between last week and this week is they took out the specific reference of 65 Washington Street and put in whether we're able to find another building to purchase or we're able to construct a site. With the exception of that very minor changed language, this matter is exactly the same. And with all due respect to the city solicitor is working directly under the executive branch, which, as you know, this motion came before us last week, advocated by the mayor. We are our own autonomous board. We make our own rules, and we should make our own ruling on whether or not this lease that's before us is substantially the same as we voted on last week. And when you say substantially the same, I mean the material terms. This is a 5-year lease. That was a 5-year lease. The terms of rent are exactly the same, $340,000, $340,000. All of the words of the lease that came before us last week, with the exception of these two, are identical. So if you want to establish a precedent where the mayor, if she doesn't get away, comes marching in the very next meeting and asks us to readdress the very same issue and to get votes, then I think we're establishing a very bad precedent. Because typically when you take a look at a lease, look at the material terms. What is the rent? What is the term? Where is the location? All of those things are identical. We're talking about a lease of 120 Washington Street for 5 years for $340,000. So with all due respect to my colleague, this is the identical lease that we're voting on tonight that we voted on last week. And if you do so rule that we have the authority to do that, note my objection.
Okay. I did also speak to counselors that were on the council back in '87 when this rule was put in, and I did a lot of homework on this, and I believe this is a substantial change because not only the escape clause, but the fact that we have to pay 1 month's rent to get out, and I'm going to rule that we can vote on this. Councilor O'Keefe.
Move the question.
Council Pelletier.
Out of respect for my council in Ward 5, that little line was a big issue when we debated it last time. That's why it's coming in, okay? So I asked the president to make a ruling, and then I'll read it.
I did make a ruling.
Made the ruling,
I made the
Counsel.
ruling already.
You all set?
Yes. And objection was noted by Councilor Ronan.
City of Salem and the City Council, February 24th, 2011, ordered, whereas the city of Salem has the opportunity to save a minimum of $42,000 per year by entering into a new lease agreement for space known as City Hall Annex. And whereas the city last council meeting, the necessary two-thirds majority required to approve the lease agreement failed to support the proposed terms. And whereas the proposed terms have been amended to reflect more robust early termination option should the city be able to purchase or construct office space. Now therefore be it hereby ordered that the City Council and the City of Salem as follows, that the mayor is hereby authorized to enter into a lease agreement for the said premises located at 120 Washington under the terms and conditions of the previously submitted, see attached summary, with the exception of Section 8, which shall be deleted and replaced with the following language. I'll read it. Section 8A, option for early termination. In the event tenant is able to construct or purchase office space for its municipal offices located within the lease premises of the landlord, then the tenant may terminate this lease agreement prior to expiration date, February 28, 2016, so long as the tenant provides the landlord with 12 months prior written notice of its intent to terminate the lease early, but in no event shall a lease be terminated subject to this section prior to February 28, 2014. A termination of this lease under this section prior to February 28, 2016 shall subject this tenant to an early termination fee of $28,333, 1 month's rental payment. Section B, option to extend. In the event the tenant does not exercise its option to terminate the lease set forth in Section 8A above, tenant shall have the option to extend the lease upon the same terms other than the rent for five successive one-year terms, the so-called option terms. Tenant must provide written notice to the landlord of its intent to extend the lease at least 6 months before the first day of the option term. If a tenant does not provide written notice to the landlord of its intent to renew the lease, the landlord, in its sole discretion, may place signage and a banner and other advertisements on the building, including at the level of the premises, indicating the premises is available for lease. Annual rent and monthly installments for each option term shall be subject to an increase equal to the percentage change of the Consumer Price Index for urban earners and clerical workers north of Boston. All items 1982-84 to 100 herein referred to as the price index, published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the United States Department of Labor, or any other comparable successor or substitute index designated by the landlord year over year. Notwithstanding this foregoing, in no event shall an increase be less than 0% or greater than 3%. Annual rent for the first option year shall be set by increasing the current annual rent of $334,000 by the percentage change between the period of December 2015 and December 2010. And in this instance, the change in the rent shall not be greater than 15%. Since the adjustment is intended to adjust for changes in the prices over a period of 5 years. The last paragraph, I'm going to make an amendment to this, that we delete the last paragraph. As Councilor Sosnowski told me, we already took care of this matter, and it's in committee to form, and then to form a joint committee to look at different places.
Can you read the paragraph that you're deleting, please?
I want to strike the last paragraph.
And can you read it, please?
Be it hereby further ordered that the mayor's council form a joint committee consisting of in-house staff as well as representative from the council to review recommended options for future space for City Hall Annex.
Mr. President?
Under discussion?
Under discussion,
You're all set?
Oh, question?
No, I want to offer an amendment.
Council Lovely.
May I?
I'll get up and talk. I like talking enough right now. I
Oh,
just
good.
want.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. President, I'd like to offer an amendment to add Section C. All provisions of Section 8 shall be subject to City Council approval. Under discussion, Mr. President?
Discussion.
Do I need a second?
Second.
Thank you. These options for early termination or more importantly, the options to extend beyond 5 years, absolutely require City Council approval. We don't want it to be in this lease more than 5 years, I believe. And these 5 one-year options, if that doesn't, that just gives the administration the power to extend without City Council approval and really get us into a 10-year lease. We don't want that. I don't want that. I'm in favor of this for a number of reasons that I've said in past meetings, most importantly to save money. But I was in favor of this when we first went into that building to revitalize it. But I'd like to add this C under Section 8. All provisions of Section 8 shall be subject to City Council approval, just to make sure that if we go to extend, if the administration goes to extend beyond 5 years to exercise those one-year options, it has to come back to this body because I don't think we want to be tied into another 10-year lease. Thank you.
So we're going to vote on your amendment, correct?
Yeah, second that.
It was already seconded by Council McCarthy.
We'll move a vote then.
Do you want to, any further vote? Further discussion?
Further discussion for, okay. Councilor Sosnowski, then Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only comment I'm going to make at this point is, I don't like this, but I'm going to vote for it tonight. And I'll tell you why I don't like it still. I agree with Councilor Lovely. I don't want to be here, and we need to start doing something tonight to get this thing moving. But just so that we do these numbers by the way this is written, so there's no misunderstanding, year 1 is $340,000. Year 2 is the same. Year 3, year 4, year 5. We're not moving any place for 5 years, it doesn't look like, unless we get off our duffs and do something. So in the first 5 years alone, we're going to spend $1.7 million. That would go a long way to building something. Year 6, according to this agreement, they can back charge a prorate of 3% for each of the 5 years not to exceed 15%. That's $51,000. So year 6 is $391,000. Year 7 is 3% after that. Year 8 is 3% more after that. Year 9 is 3% after that. It goes on. You add the numbers up. This is like the old proverb, but I'll take a penny a day and double it for 30 days. I think everybody's done those numbers before. Be aware of what we're getting into. At the moment, it's our best option, and I don't like it, but I am going to vote for it this evening. All right? But we're spending a heck of a lot of money, and we're getting no place in something that we own. This is not making us do our homework. This is not making us get to where we should be, and that's in our own place. And we really need to stoke the fires underneath somebody or something or some committee to get our homework done so we can get out of this as soon as possible. Because that's an awful lot of money for us to spend for absolutely no return and no equity. And we don't serve the taxpayers well. Thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe, then Councilor Ronan.
Well, Mr. President, I was going to move that the clerk call the vote of the City Council on the yeas and nays on the amendment of the order first.
Are we still on the discussion?
You just read.
Well, it's just on discussion for the amendment.
Still on discussion.
Yeah.
Well,
Then I will do the amendment.
all right,
and then we'll do
that's fine. Sir?
it. Councilor Ronan.
Roll will be called.
Yes, Mr. President, I think that this body is unanimous in the idea that we can do better than 120 Washington Street at some point in time, and that we don't want to be locked into 120 Washington Street any longer than we have to. It was Councilor McCarthy's suggestion originally that we try to come up with an escape clause so that we could get out of this lease after 3 years. And really what we're doing now is we're negotiating the benefits or the lack of benefits of the escape clause as it's written. And so that there's no misunderstanding, I want everyone to understand that this escape clause allows us no way out if we found other space anywhere in Salem that we could lease at a lower rent. You know, say the district court building became available and the state wanted to lease us that space with an option to buy later. We can't get out of this lease. We can only get out of this lease under this language in the event that we buy or construct our own place. So it takes all of the competition away from the RCG group, essentially, because we have no out if we want to lease another space. Now, if you take a look at the escape clause and the numbers, and you do the numbers here, we got blasted, those of us who originally voted against this lease, because the mayor was suggesting that we were costing the city $42,000. If you just do the math, that's not true. The escape clause here, after 3 years, and we all agree, because we sent a matter last week to committee to come up with solutions so that we can get out of this in 3 years. But the escape clause provides that the city will pay $28,333 to get out of this lease. But we can't get out of the lease for 3 years. And we have to give the RCG group 12 months notice before the time that we want to break the lease. So the escape clause is only good if we buy or build our own place. We give the RCG group 12 months advance notice, and we pay them $28,333. Weigh that, please. Weigh that against what I've suggested. If we just exercise our 1-year option, yes, we pay more in the first year. We pay $42,000 more in the first year. But that's not that's not a $42,000 loss, because for that, we get an absolute escape. We can negotiate year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, right away. So for an additional only $13,667, we have an absolute escape clause. And we can negotiate to make up for that loss in the first year, in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. It makes good economic business sense. It just does. We won't be stuck at 120 Washington Street for an additional 5 years. If you vote for this lease, I guarantee you that we'll be there 5 years from now wishing that we had had some way to get out of this. We can get out of it sooner by voting against this lease now, and it'll cost a lot less, because we'll, essentially pay another $13,666 now for an absolute escape clause and the ability to negotiate years 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's certainly worth the extra $13,666. This isn't a situation where we're being asked simply, to approve a 1-year lease. As Councilor Sosnowski suggested, this is a $1.7 million lease that we are tying the taxpayers of Salem into if you vote for this lease. Because for 5 years, we'll be stuck at 120 Washington Street. We'll wind up paying the RCG group $1.7 million for space we all know isn't 20,000 square feet, and is grossly inadequate for our needs. So I'd ask you to vote against the lease.
Thank you. Council Lovely and Council
Mr.
McCarthy.
President, just a couple of comments. We put out an RFP. We got 2 responses. If there's so much space in Salem, where's everybody that's going to respond? Where are they? We got 2. 2. One happens to be where City Hall Annex lives now, and the other one is 10 Federal Street, which came in higher. So the mayor negotiated the better deal. So we stay at 120 over this and have to extend 5 one-year options because we didn't get any. We had 2. I don't see, if we're putting it out, that we're going to get 10 or 5. Or we stay over there and we don't just pay $1.7 million. We pay $2 million. another 300,000 at least over, when you add in the 40,000 per year that she's saving, plus the escalator clause, you know, the 3%. I think this is where we should, what we should vote on. We're out after 3 years. It actually puts a responsibility of this city, of the administration and the city council, to roll up the sleeves and start looking for a place and get out of there in 3 years. It actually gives us a timeline to make us do it, instead of going these 5 one-year options. I just don't see it. I think this is a money saver. We should just do it, get it done, and then get out of there in 3 years and not stay for 5. Thank you.
Council McCarthy, then Council Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few comments as well. I don't think that anybody in this body, I want to take personalities, I want to take positions out of it. Let's take a step back. We're in the same situation. It doesn't matter who's sitting in the corner office. I'm not going to swing my left arm this time. I put it in my pocket so I wouldn't hit you. I talk to my right. If I hit Councilor Pelletier, well, that's okay. Whoever's sitting in the corner office, this body, we all sat through a budget cycle last year that was very contentious. I don't care who's sitting in the corner office. If that person, whoever he or she may be, had executed the one-year extension in a series of one-year extensions to the cost of taxpayers of the city of Salem an additional 42, then 45, then 48, then $50,000 with the built-in escalator clauses that are already in the current agreement that will take effect, if this body doesn't act on this, will take effect as of March 1. This body and certain members of the Finance Committee will be lambasting the mayor during the budget cycle because she didn't come up with better options for us to try to save money. She put out, and now I'll turn it into what happened, as Councilor Lovely just stated. She put out an RFP. There was only 2 people that came back. They did an evaluation committee, and they evaluated over location, site, what was good, what was bad, and they came to terms with this. So if we don't execute this lease, as is suggested, which I think we should, and I will urge my colleagues to do as well, if we don't execute this lease, then we come in at the higher number that we're paying now, with an escalator clause. Then, if we try, then next year, as is suggested, we can renegotiate. Everybody in this body stood up and said, we don't want to be there. I don't want to be there, but it's the only option in front of us. We don't want to be there. What makes anybody think that's in business that you're going to go to somebody and try to renegotiate the terms of a lease where they already have built-in automatic escalators that they're going to renegotiate knowing the fact that nobody wants to stay there? They're going to sit back and say, you know what? They're going to leave. Everybody in that room wants to leave, so why would I renegotiate to try to save them money when it's already built into the contract that they can execute, that can be executed? In addition, as went through, even with the early buyout clause, as is stated, the terms that were negotiated through the subcommittee that was formed with regards to evaluation, they went back to the people at 120 and said, listen, we want to stay, but there's some deficiencies in the building. We all recognize those deficiencies. Upgrades too, carpet, paint, air conditioning. There's a laundry list of things of which if we don't execute the lease, they're not obligated to do those. They could just sit back and say, you know what? A year from now, there's certain members, the body wants out of there, we're not going to do anything. Why would they invest in a piece of property to do paint, carpet, or whatever that we may vacate and they may have to rip it all up? So why would you put that investment into that property? I understand it's contentious. I understand how we got here is a little, I won't even put it in words, but it's not, it seems, I guess convoluted is the best way to describe it. But that being said, it's the best option in front of us, and I would urge my colleagues to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Council Pinto.
Mr. President, today is February 24th, as everybody knows. And February 28th, the lease expires. That's why we're here. We get it dumped on us December 9th. We have one council meeting in December. Our first meeting on it was January 20th. We had a second meeting on it, and here we are. This was such a priority of the administration that we got it. They sent out an RFP. It came in August 18th, and for 3.5 months, what did they get? New carpeting, some paint on the walls, and $42,000 less. That's great. We've been paying $42,000 more than we should have been paying for the last 10 years, okay? So now, this is what it's come down to. This lease expires in 4 days. Okay, so here we are, front and center. Got a vote on it. We already voted on it, Mr. President, last week. It was voted down last week. And this blue book we use for rules, I guess you just take that and throw it over to the city solicitor's office, and she shakes it up and back it comes. That's my thought. But, you know, we didn't even look at the high bid. We took the low bid and then we negotiated, okay? That building is not 20,000 square feet. We were told that with the lobby, it's 20,000 square feet. So the taxpayers of Salem are paying for that lobby. They're paying for that lobby. They were supposed to put 8 additional parking spaces underneath back in 2000 when we signed it. The spaces aren't there. We got a building over here that's far superior. Parking, 1 floor, and we know it's 20,000 square feet. That building is not 20,000 square feet. I haven't seen anybody put documents in front of me to tell me it's 20,000 square feet. I've been told it's 20,000 square feet. It's not 20,000 square feet. It's a dump. The taxpayers deserve better than 120 Washington Street. But it goes back to the fact that this was so important, we don't want to get stuck there. Well, we've been stuck there for 10 years, and by the looks of it, we're going to get stuck there for another 5, because if we get out after 3 years, where are we going? Where are we going? Let's be realistic. Where are we going? We're stuck there, all right? We should be stuck over here. At least the taxpayers are getting their money's worth. At least they can park. They have meetings over here people don't even go to because they can't find a place to park. They get people that don't even get permits because they can't find a place to park. That's what our tax money's doing for us. People don't even have access to that building. There's no place to park. It's ridiculous. You get in there, you got to press the elevator. 2nd floor for a treasurer, 3rd floor for building. It's inadequate. The taxpayers deserve so much more money. We're saving $42,000, but you know what? We're getting what we pay for. We're getting what we pay for. You know, that thing we've been getting overcharged on that for the last 10 years. And if it obviously wasn't an important issue with the administration, or maybe we would have got something in front of us earlier where we wouldn't be discussing this with 4 days left in a 10-year contract. 4 days left, and we're here voting on a contract. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Pinto. Council Fieri and Council Prevey.
We're in the 21st century, and people demand 21st century government. Stop and shop. Stop and shop immediately. And that's what this provides. This lease will provide that people in Salem can do their business in this city hall at 120 Washington Street, and to get their services and the needs done, bills done, and so on. So I think we in this city council have to bite the bullet, and we have to look at the future. We have to be patient, show some patience and perseverance and a vision. And I think somewhere along the line, the district court will come available. Not according to our timetable that we'd like. But I think in the long run, in the best interest of the city of Salem, stop and shop government, 21st century government that we have today, people demand quickly to go into downtown Salem. We thought about having it sent down to the Council on Aging. At one time, there were several meetings about sending it down to council. The neighborhood didn't want that down there. Council on Aging, where it is, the Council on Aging now. So the options, as Council Lovely said, are few and far between. We have to bite the bullet for the next 5 years. We have to look at the future. And I think in the long run, the future will be much better than it is today for people who want to see government in the 21st century with their needs. I think district court will meet those needs. Today, it's a tough decision for all of us there. I voted against it way back when. I thought the 10 Federal Street was the premier building. Buy it, and look what it is now, 5 floors. But we didn't make that judgment back then, and now we have this decision. And I think it would be the best interest, long-term interest, stop and shop government, 21st century. People don't want to go all over the place. They don't want to go to the old Council on Aging. There is no other sites available to buy, to lease for the next 5 years. I think we have to bite the bullet, be realistic, and say, hey, we'll go into the district court. And I'm looking forward to that day. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Fieri. Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, as has been said earlier, here we are again, the same matter that was voted down. It's here again before us. A few things have changed on it, but essentially it does end up being the same thing, and it means the same thing. And the same thing is that we're going to be there for 5 years, dealing with the same building, the same problems that go along with that. I was talking with some of the city employees about that building, and portions of it, when they walk down the hallway, the hallway actually starts to slant as they're walking it because the building is so decrepit, essentially. And the building is constantly shifting where, you know, one day it's slanted this way, the next day it's like, a couple weeks later, you trip and fall because the building has shifted. I mean, that's the condition it's in, and we're gonna be there for 5 more years. It'll be 5 years older, and where are we gonna find ourselves? We have an opportunity. You know, Councilor Fury says bite the bullet. I think we should bite the bullet now, extend the lease for a year, and do our due diligence to find something that's superior. We have a superior building over at 10 Federal Street. I think we should negotiate with them within the limits of the law in trying to come up with something that will save the taxpayers money and actually give them something that's good. As Councilor Pinto had said nicely on the floor the last time this matter came in front of us, we got people, you know, hanging out in the hallway over at 120 Washington Street, can't speak. You know, some folks rarely go to some of these meetings, but when they do, and it's jam-packed, overflow capacity, people are out in the hallway, they can't speak. Can't park. People tell me all the time, oh, you know, I'm not going down there, I can't find parking. And yeah, 10 Federal Street, parking issue is a non-issue. We have been overcharged. It was a terrible lease that we entered into for 10 years, the terms of it, and we got the raw end of the deal. Now we're going to enter into it, and what we should have been paying for the last 10 years is now being proposed. It's not any better. It's a bad situation. I think we need to look elsewhere and take this opportunity. 5 years from now, I bet half of us aren't even on the council. Perhaps the mayor won't be there. Be a whole different field of government here, with perhaps maybe a different view on the entire matter. So when we have the responsibility to actually do something and move it forward, I think we ought to seize the opportunity. But this is now. And if this thing passes, which I suspect it probably will, the opportunity has fled us. So with that, the last thing I will say, I take exception to Councilor McCarthy's statement that come budget season, members of Committee of A&F will be giving the mayor the business about lambasting, or however he described it. We're not going to lambaste her. We're going to propose cuts if cuts are appropriate, but there's not going to be any lambasting going on. Thank you.
Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. Just before the ultimate vote is taken on this measure, I want to make sure that everybody understands options, because there's been some confusion about options and what we're locked into. Options are one way. Only one party to an agreement has the right to execute the option. In this case, in the case of the lease that currently exists and the 5 one-year options, there are options. So I want everybody on the council to understand that there are options. So if we take the option for the next year, the 1-year option, we're not tied into any escalators. We're not tied into anything. So the question was asked, why would the landlord negotiate with the city of Salem? I'll suggest this. There's no way, and I said it before last meeting, on God's green earth, that landlord is going to get $340,000 from any other tenant in this economy next year to lease the same space. So we have the option of telling that landlord right away that we're not going to be there unless he negotiates with us. We don't have to accept the option for years 2, 3, 4, 5. So the escalator clauses mean nothing. They mean nothing to us. We're the party who has the right to exercise that option. So in years 2, 3, 4, 5, forget what it says under the current lease. We can renegotiate that because we don't have to exercise those options. And if I were the landlord and I owned 120 Washington Street, and I know that the biggest tenant around is the city of Salem, and I can get a good fee, a good fair fee from the city of Salem, I would negotiate. And I'll tell you this, if they know that we're not going to pay $340,000, they'll come back and they'll negotiate with us. But anyway, before we vote on this, I want it to be clear that we're not locked into any escalators, that the landlord, the RCG group, doesn't have this option. It's the city of Salem's option to exercise, these series of one-year leases. So it puts us in a position to negotiate these leases.
Thank you. Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to point a couple clarification points here. First one that we're going to be voting on, I'm thinking, is Councilor Lovely's amendment to add a section 8C.
Correct.
That all of 8A and 8B have council approval.
Correct.
Well, before we vote on that particular one, I'd like to make a small change to 8A, first paragraph. In the very first sentence, it starts off and it says, in the event tenant is able to construct or purchase office space. What I want to do is change that, and I want it to say, in the event tenant is able to find alternative office space. That doesn't tie our hands, right? It simply takes the word construct or purchase out, and it substitutes the words find alternative. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. That's the first thing I would like to do there. But I mean, bear with me for a moment here. I'm actually still on track about what we're talking about because everybody's concerned about money, but I want to bring up just a quick point here. We're talking about $42,000. That's a lot of money. But earlier tonight, if it weren't for the fact the protocol was violated on the way a open meeting law was posted, we'd have been voting on a golf course contract. In the first year alone, we're going to lose $180,000. All the way up to the 10th year where we only lose $135,000. And it escalates in between. So we need to not have open eyes on one area and closed eyes on another. We need to watch the entire big picture here because there's a lot of things going on we need to be concerned with. But meanwhile, getting back to this, I don't want to belabor this. That first sentence, I would make that motion that we strike those words and add those others.
I'd second that motion.
Mr. President.
Councilor Lovely and then Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just quickly, just a point of, just to put it out there, if we strike that and put find alternative office space, that then changes the terms that's been negotiated with the landlord. So that's not this has been negotiated with the landlord, that's why it's back in front of us. That'll change it, whether then the landlord will accept it or not. No, that's fine. I'm just putting it out there. It's not an argument. I'm just making you aware of that. The other thing I just wanted to talk to my good colleague across the aisle, that this has been negotiated, and it's saving us $200,000. So I would say, they've come to the table and negotiated, and the savings is $200,000 at a minimum. I was going to talk about the former lease because I supported that from the beginning. Just to quickly, from my other good counselor across the aisle, that when we left 2 Salem Green, we rented 10,000 square feet because and if you recall, the meeting room was about this big. And then we went over there and we doubled it. Well, we doubled our rent because we went from 10,000 to 20. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, does Councilor Lovely accept the amendment by Councilor Sosnowski? I didn't get a fair reading of what she... Are you in favor of the amendment of Councilor Sosnowski through Ms.
I think they all need to be voted on separately.
It's a separate.
Separately, all right.
So
So I move then that we act first on Councilor Sosnowski's, unless another member of the council... I'll sit down.
Could I comment on that first?
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand that this might be something that I'm violating relative to the two parties sitting down at a table and coming up with verbiage, but I'd be willing to take that chance in this particular case because I don't think anybody's going to object to what I've put forward here. All that does is, instead of us being limited to either constructing or purchasing, if there's a third point that we could get to, it doesn't eliminate that third point, and that's all I'm saying. Right? So, I mean, if somebody wants to challenge that later, fine. At least we've passed it.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we move on the vote on the amendments, I just want to take a point of personal privilege, if I may, and apologize to anybody in the committee. During my comments, I sat back and kind of played back what I said in my head and I want to apologize specifically to Council Prevey and any other member of my committee. Obviously, I chair the Finance Committee this year. I mean, I definitely feel that an open and frank dialogue with regard to the budget is very well warranted. And it was just, I erred in my comments, and I just wanted to say, I apologize in the fact that I don't disagree with, I don't disagree that we shouldn't consider every cut possible. And I think that my comment was just relative to the fact that if during the process it could have become contentious, that if this matter had been brought up, that it would have made it more contentious, and I apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody in the community. If I did so, I apologize. Thank you.
Thank you, Council McCarthy.
Move the question, Mr. President.
Council Pelletier, next.
Let them speak.
Councilor O'Keefe, you tired? You need to go home? Okay. Not to be ad nauseam at this, Mr. President, but we have 3 amendments on the table. Councilor Sosnowski's, Councilor Lovely, and then mine, deleting the last section. I'd like to take those up by roll call vote and then go right to the vote. No more discussion. I think
No.
this thing's ad nauseum right now.
Councilor Pinto, and then I still want to say something.
Mr. President, thank you. I just want to clarify that these amendments we're voting on because you ruled that this is an order and not a resolution, correct?
Correct.
And just for the record, that this order came in our agenda as a resolution on Tuesday, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Ron.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but I would just suggest one thing. If we are voting on this as an order, we should take out the preamble language. Typically, that's put into a resolution, and it's sort of the sentiment of this committee. I have a difficult time swallowing the first whereas language, whereas we're going to save $42,000, when I do the math and it comes to me to be $13,667 at best. So that preamble language shouldn't be in our order. So I would move that we strike the preamble language and then just vote on the amendments and then vote on the order.
Councilor Pelletier.
I'll accept those friendly amendments, and we'll delete them right now. Can we go down the list?
I can't.
No?
No, you can't, Councilor.
No, vote as is.
Councilor Lovely.
Try and get this vote.
No, I assume that the fact that the good counselor wants to delete it, that he's now going to vote in favor of it.
I'm going to vote in favor of deleting the language.
No, but in favor of it, if you want that removed, either that or it's not going to really matter to you because you're voting against it.
Well, I'm going to vote, I can tell you, if we take the vote, you'll see, I'm going to vote in favor of several of these amendments.
All in good fun, Counselor.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, will you define what we're voting on and then start the roll call by the ayes and the ayes?
Well, I'd like to take the chair. I want to say something.
All right, sir. Chair recognizes Councilor Ward 4, Jerry Ryan.
This is just with the
Thank you, Mr.
administration.
President. First of all, on the fact bringing this in on Rule 6A, the council order, I not only got the solicitor's opinion before this rule was put in 1987. I got the feedback of a couple unbiased counselors at that time from 87, and their opinion was the same, that it could come in as an order that we didn't have to do. I mean, 150 years before that, the city never had that rule in their thing, but we don't want everything to keep coming back in again. But as far as the lease, we're coming up on a year where it's going to be a tough budget, and losing $42,000 is going to be tough. I spoke with the mayor. She could just keep renewing the one-year lease. I mean, I don't even think she needs, I don't know the way it is, the council's approval to just automatically renew. I mean, she doesn't have to listen to us. So even if we deny this, and she could go, oh, well, next year we're going to renew another one, and I'd rather work with the administration and try to get, nobody wants to be over in the City Hall Annex where it is now. But I mean, we need to put it together. I'm going to make sure this committee gets going and we get some information, number one, to see whether the city should be leasing a building instead of owning a building, because if you look at city property, the city doesn't really take good care of its property. You might be better off leasing. I'd rather own a building. The fact that this building, it has to be fixed at some point. This is over 175 years old about, and this building needs a lot of work. So we're probably going to have to move to a space where we can move all the offices out of this so this building can be fixed and restored. But the fact that, I mean, we can't give up the $42,000. I mean, I agree, Councilor Ronan we're going to be locked in for at least 3 years, as opposed to if we vote it down, we have a year, but we ain't going anywhere. When I spoke to the owner of 10 Federal Street, if we built a building, it's going to take us 3 years to even get that building built. So, I mean, where I want to go, I want to see us own our own building and build. I don't want to lease. But I mean, everyone has different opinions. Someone wants the courthouse, and somebody might want the train station. That's what this committee's for. And the fact that we're going to be there anyway, so we might as well save the money. We're not going to go anywhere for 5 years. And I asked the mayor also if maybe put money aside, like $10,000 a year, so on the third year we'd have $30,000 to exercise that option to get out, or something like that. But that's all I have to say. Thank you, Councilor Ron. Councilor.
Mr. President?
Mr. President,
Councilor O'Keefe.
move the question.
Councilor O'Keefe wants to move the question, so
Mr. President, point of clarification, is there a motion before us to strike the three sentences? I mean, did Councilor Pinto, or I'm sorry, Councilor Pelletier? Okay, Councilor Ronan put that forward, okay.
he put that forward.
That's fine, so that is before us.
And was it seconded?
I'll second.
That's fine.
All right, so
Thank you.
Roll call, vote, Mr. President.
we
Yeas
have
and
four
nays.
things. Okay, the
Yeas
first
and nays.
On the amendments first.
amendments first. We'll start with Councilor Ronan's amendment to strike the resolution wording, the whereas,
Yeah.
and by roll call vote.
For clarification, is that just the three first paragraphs?
I believe so. Councilor Ronan, the first
Yes,
three
that would just
paragraphs.
be the first three, really the preamble, the whereas clause.
The first three paragraphs.
So that this would start as a typical order.
Be it hereby ordered?
Yes, it would start with, it'd be hereby ordered.
Be it hereby ordered,
Yeah.
okay.
Whereas and the now therefore.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, get rid of now therefore as well.
right.
Yep.
Order to the City Council of the City of Salem as follows.
All right.
So,
Roll call vote. Madam City Clerk, can you read the roll?
Council Sosnowski?
clarification, we're getting rid of the three whereas and the one now therefore.
Right.
So we'll start with order.
Oh, be it hereby ordered.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay? First paragraph, whereas, second paragraph, whereas, third paragraph, whereas, fourth line,
Now
fourth
therefore.
paragraph, line, now therefore.
A vote in the affirmative would remove that. A vote in the negative would keep it.
I-
Is it clear?
I'm clear. Ready for the vote? Yes.
Yeah, she's ready.
Roll call vote, Mr. President.
Madam City
Council
Clerk.
Sosnowski?
Yes.
Council Sergeant?
Yes.
Council Ronan?
Yes?
Council Prevey?
Yes.
Council Pinto?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
Council O'Keefe?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes.
Council Lovely?
Yes.
Council Fury?
Yes.
Council Ryan?
Yes. Thank you. On the question, the amendment to strike the preamble language, 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The amendment carries.
Move for immediate consideration, move for immediate reconsideration, hope that does not prevail.
Council Pelletier moves for immediate reconsideration that hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. The next amendment would be, I think, Councilor Sosnowski's, and he was to strike the wording in 8A, remove construct or purchase, and replace with find alternative. Is that what you wanted to do, Councilor Sosnowski?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Councilor,
move that the council be polled by the ayes and nays on this matter.
no, about roll call vote.
This is the second
Ayes
amendment.
and nays, it's roll call
Still
usually,
on the
but it's
amendments.
ayes and the nays. The cards say ayes and nays. If I'm correct, if you look at the card that city clerk has in front of it, it doesn't say yes or no, it says A and nay.
Okay.
Am I correct, Madam City Clerk?
Yes.
Yes, she
Okay.
says yes. The yeas and the nays.
So, if you want to remove the language, say yay. If you don't, say
No,
no.
no, man, no, sir. Mr.
Roll
President,
call
no,
vote.
just call the vote on this matter. Let's
That was already taken care of.
What's your amendment?
All three of these amendments.
move the question.
Roll call vote.
Clerk, call the roll.
Office space.
Madam City Clerk, can you call the roll?
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yay.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Ronan.
Yay.
Counselor Creevy.
Yes.
Counselor Pinto. Counselor Pelletier.
Yay.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Yay.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yay. On the amendment in section 8A to delete the first sentence, words construct or purchase office space and add find alternative office space, 11 councilors voted, 11 in the affirmative. The amendment carries.
Move for immediate reconsideration and hope it will not prevail, Mr. President.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration, hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. The third amendment is I think Councilor Lovely's to add a section C. All provisions of section 8 need city council approval. Is that what you have?
Shall be subject to city council approval.
Subject to city council approval.
Mr. President,
Councilor O'Keefe.
I move that the council be polled by the ayes and nays on this matter.
Madam City Clerk, can you call the roll?
It's Jones now.
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Ronan.
Yes.
Counselor Creevy.
Yes.
Counselor Pinto.
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Aye.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yes. On the lease agreement amendment, add section C to 8. All provisions of section 8 shall be subject to city council approval. 11 councilors voted, 11 in the affirmative. The amendment carries.
Mr. President, I move for immediate reconsideration and hope it will not prevail.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration. The hope does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Seated. Okay. On the last amendment, from Councilor Pelletier, he wanted to delete the section.
The
Be it-
last paragraph.
Yeah, last paragraph. Want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Be it hereby further ordered that the mayor and the city council form a joint committee consisting of in-house staff as well as representatives from the council to review and recommend options for future space for City Hall Annex offices.
That's correct. That's redundant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to explain to the folks at home, we've already done this, so I didn't want them to think that, you know, what are they doing? They're not going to form a committee. We've already
Have it.
talked about forming a committee. It's already in committee. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilor O'Keefe.
I move the council be polled on this question by the ayes and nays.
Madam City Clerk, can you read the roll?
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Ronan.
Yes.
Counselor Creevy.
Yes.
Counselor Pinto.
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Aye.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yes. On the amendment to the lease agreement to delete the last paragraph, to form a committee, 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative. The amendment carries.
Mr. President, I move for immediate reconsideration, hope it will not prevail.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration. The hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. The final is the new lease agreement for space known as City Hall Annex 120 Washington Street as amended.
As amended.
As amended, I said that. Is it an echo? Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, I move that the council be polled by the ayes and nays on this matter.
Madam City Clerk, can you read the call, read the roll call?
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Ronan.
Nay.
Counselor Creevy.
No.
Counselor Pinto.
No.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Yay.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yes. On the approval as amended at the lease agreement at 120 Washington Street, 11 councilors voting, 8 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. The motion carries.
Mr. President,
Counselor O'Keefe.
I move for immediate reconsideration and hope that the matter will not prevail.
Counselor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration. The hope that does not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed. Move for adjournment?
To adjourn.